Hello and welcome to the live of lesson number 2 of the Wake Up Your Eyes free masterclass, where you are learning how to take care of your eyes and improve your vision naturally without the need of glasses or surgery. And I would like to know today, where are you from? Where are you watching us from? Since we've been sharing this Wake Up Your Eyes free masterclass, we've had over 3 million people in over 200 countries learning from us natural vision improvement techniques. And we always like to know where we have people watching from. So this session today is part of a 4-part free masterclass. If you have not seen the preceding videos, video number 1 with its live and video number 2 with its live, and you're not registered to watch the rest of the session, let me invite you to register to this 4-part free masterclass here with this link, clearsightmethod.com/wakeupyoureyes, and then you will be able to enjoy the full benefit of this free training that we are offering. Maybe you're watching us in YouTube. Okay, if that is the case, or if you like YouTube in general, let me invite you to sign up to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/clearsightmethod. And if you prefer Facebook, you can follow us in facebook.com/clearsightmethod. Okay, and today we are going to talk about a number of topics. So we're going to talk about some topics that we addressed in video number 2, but we will go more in depth. A lot of people, that may be your case, have limiting beliefs about the possibility of improving eyesight naturally. A lot of people believe that it's caused by age or it's genetic, and we're going to talk about how actually science let us know that this is not so much the case, that there are other options. We're also going to talk about light, about sunlight and artificial light. We're going to see how and when light could be dangerous for our eyesight and how we should protect ourselves from it, and when light is actually an accelerator for our vision improvement, which kind of light and at what time of the day we can use special kinds of lights to improve our eyesight. We will also talk about a STAR technique of natural vision improvement, sunning, that we talked about in video number 2, and different variants of sunning, and we'll see how it can allow us to improve our eyesight very rapidly. We can see and we can focus a lot better when we use this technique, even for a few minutes every day. We'll also talk about sunglasses, when they're useful and when they're actually harming for your eyesight. Yes, when sunglasses, are actually not being very good for your eyes. And we will also talk about an alternative for them. I will also teach you the technique of instant focusing, that you're going to be very amazed when you apply this technique. You're going to notice how you can, with your very eyes, without glasses, without contacts, without any kind of lenses, how you can improve instantly your focus and see very, very clearly, near and far. And I'll share with you a training tool that can help you have this effect constantly, as often as you want. So we're going to talk about these things and many, many more, and I'll do my best to answer as many questions as possible, questions that we've been receiving in the past days. So a lot of you probably have these questions, and questions that may be arising in the chat. So, and let me have a look on where people are coming from. So we have people from Zimbabwe, from Malaga, from Florida, from Arizona. So I see we have a bit of a global audience here. So be very, very welcome. That's so nice that you're here today. And so let's dive in. Okay. So we were talking about some limiting beliefs that people have about eyesight. A lot of people believe, so we have people also from the Netherlands, London, Maldives, great. So a lot of us have heard at some point in time that we have been told that eyesight decreases with age. and that with age, our eyesight can only get worse. Well, you should know that this is only statistically frequent, but it's not a biological determination. And there's many ways in which we can show this. And hi, Mian, also from Denmark. So on the one hand, while it is true statistically that a lot of people start having a vision decline or eyesight decline after their 40s, a lot of us, many of us, know at least one person that being over 70 or 80 or older is still able to put the thread inside the little hole of the needle, right? Um, and you may think that maybe these people were lucky or that they had good genes in a way and they're an exception. But we need to look at this in a different way as well. We should ask ourselves, what are these people doing right that we're doing wrong? But besides the what we could call the exceptions that we may know here and there, well, first, if it was a biological determination, these people should also have eyesight problems at a certain age, and clearly they don't. But beyond that, we have other kinds of proof coming from anthropology and coming from sociology and coming from history about the distribution of eyesight problems and symptoms in different societies across different ages. And for example, we could mention China. In China, up to 20 years ago, there was barely any presbyopia at all. People did not need reading glasses after their 40s or the 50s, and they preserved a very good eyesight for a very, very long time. So there's been social transformations in China, and that is not so much the case nowadays. So there's been a progression of presbyopia. But if it had been a biological determination that with age you would have very bad eyesight regardless, then the Chinese population should have had also presbyopia and the need for reading glasses 20 years ago. Now, if we look at our own societies, so 20 years ago, the normal, quote, quote, normal, meaning only statistically frequent, age to start having presbyopia and needing reading glasses was being 50 years old. And nowadays, it is 40 years old. So we are learning that actually in 20 years of time, also in our societies, we have lost 10 years of quality of our vision. And this is not something due to genetics, because if it was biologically determined, well, this should be constant, but it is not. So something has happened in the last 20 years that has made our eyesight worse. And we can see how our conditions of life, how our habits have been transformed. We don't eat the same way, we don't move the same way, we don't spend as much time outdoors. And in the last couple of years, since COVID and the lockdowns, these processes have been accelerating. We are more in artificial environments, looking at more screens, and with more time spent with artificial lights, the quality of our lights has also changed. We used to have incandescent light bulbs, or halogenous light bulbs, or fluorescent light bulbs, and nowadays we have LEDs. And LEDs have very good properties for the economy and the ecology, but they're not very good for our eyesight and our health in general, actually. There's, of course, ways to go around this, but as a first instance, they're actually increasing the possibility for our eyesight to become worse over time. And we spend more and more time with LED lights in the screens and in our homes and at work. Also, if we look in another way, we have specific populations that are known for being a very, very long lives. I'm talking about the Hansa in the Himalayas, and you can look about it, and you can ask Google about the Hansas. They are known for living very long time. A lot of them go beyond being 100 years old, and they barely have any presbyopia whatsoever. And there's another population in Latin America, in the Valley of Vilacamba in Ecuador, where people also live for a very, very long time, and they barely have any presbyopia at all. So we are seeing that there isn't a determination about age that you should have bad eyesight at a certain age. On the other hand, if you spend many decades having bad habits, bad health habits, well, it is normal that your health deteriorates over time. It is true for other aspects of health. If you don't eat properly and you don't exercise, well, after 40, you may be having some health issues. The same goes with your eyes. If you're using your eyes in an inappropriate way and you don't have good habits and you're not taking care of your eyes properly, well, don't be surprised if after 40 or 50 years of punishing your eyes, well, that you start having eyesight problems. And also about this belief that genetics would cause the eyesight problems. On the one hand, well, genetics may create a predisposition for certain symptoms, but epigenetics, the current research in epigenetics, is showing us that genes are like switches in a panel. You can switch them on and off. And the things that switch the genes to be triggered and activated or not are things that we also have control over, like what we think, how we feel, what we eat, if we exercise, how our relationships, if you live in a toxic environment, etc., etc. So the triggering of the genes themselves is something that we can cause with our habits. On the other hand, if we look also evolutions over a generation, and I'm looking at Asia this time, and this time I'm looking about myopia or being short-sighted. In one generation, in 20 years of time, there's been several countries in Far East Asia, for example, in Japan, in Hong Kong, in Singapore, in Korea, less in continental China, although they're going in that direction, that shows that myopia has gone from touching 50% of the population into touching over 90% of the population. When a problem, a health issue is genetic, the variations over time in one generation or on the next, it's of 2%, 2% more or 2% less. So an increase of 40% cannot be attributed to genetics alone. And it also has to do with the changes of lifestyle and habits in Asia in the past 20 years. And well, in Asia, we have even more more high and intensive use of technology and a lot of social pressure on a number of reasons. So we can see the effects of that in eyesight. So as you see, and for those who don't know me, and I see that there's people also from Toronto, North Carolina, and Paradise, Texas. If you don't know me, I am Dr. Ainhoa de Federico. I'm a professor and researcher at the University of Toulouse in France. Natural vision improvement is my research focus for a very long time. I've been working on this field for over 20 years, gathering the information on different disciplines that get interested in eyesight, of course, ophthalmology and optometry, but also other disciplines such as neurophysiology, neurosciences, epigenetics, the study of posture, the study of nutrition, and also, although it may be surprising, other humanistic and social sciences have something to do about eyesight, for example, psychology, anthropology, history, or sociology. So I'm sharing with you some of the findings that I've done over the years with the intent that they may be useful for you in your day-to-day life. So pay attention to the things that I'm going to be telling, because they may create a transformation for your eyesight and vision. And the topics that I'm talking about at this moment are very important because they concern your mindset. When you believe that something, as Henry Ford would say, when you believe something is impossible, you are right. And when you believe that something is possible, you are right as well. So what are you going to choose? And I'm giving you here scientific proof and argument of the fact that the vision problems are not a determination, and you can do something about it if you want to improve them. So we've talked about genetics and we've talked about age. And while some of these are statistically frequent, it doesn't mean that you're obliged to have vision problems, and you don't need to keep falling under these limiting beliefs. On the other hand, I, as a researcher and professor at the university, have had the opportunity to teach students, young students, dozens of them, and also dozens, hundreds of other participants that come to the classes that I teach at the Free University of Toulouse, where usually it's retired people who come, over 60, 70, 80, even 90 sometimes. And I have observed directly with my very eyes young people and older people both improve their eyesight in a time of 6 weeks with the courses that I teach at the university, and have very deep improvements and throw their glasses that they were sometimes wearing for over 40 years or decades. So if it was possible for them, it's certainly possible for you. Now, I've been teaching natural vision improvement online also for a number of years. I started in Spanish in 2016 and in English in 2021. And during that time, I have gathered hundreds and hundreds of testimonials of people from all walks of life, all ages, that had all kinds of symptoms. Many of them had not had surgery. A lot of them had had surgery and had vision problems afterwards. And many of them who had been wearing glasses for decades. And there's hundreds of these testimonials. We have almost 500 of them in Spanish, where I've been teaching for a longer time. And in English, we have over or about 150 testimonials where you can look, if you want, to find other people who have already had the opportunity to improve their eyesight from the same symptom that you are suffering at this moment. So if you want, you can check this link and find some testimonials there. They're basically in our YouTube channel, so you can also search for them, signing up to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/clearsight method. Okay, and besides these limiting beliefs about age and genetics, and that actually are limiting you from being seizing the opportunity to improve your eyesight naturally, well, there's another kind of belief that is also very, very spread, and that is the belief that the sun harms your eyesight, that the sun is not good for your eyes and your vision. And actually, this is not true, or actually, we should be a lot more precise about it. We should be a lot more nuanced about it. First of all, there is life in planet Earth because of the sun, because of the specific distance that planet Earth has in relation with the sun. And of course, there's the atmosphere that's filtering a lot of these rays from the sun. And some decades ago, we had some problem with the ozone layer, but we're not told that actually the ozone layer has been improving in the last couple of decades, which is really good news. And the sun and the sunlight are very important for a lot of our health processes. We need the sun to synthesize vitamin D, which helps for our nervous system to work well, which helps also for our bones to be in good health. We need the sun and to follow the circadian cycle of the different aspects of the color of sunlight during the day, so that we can regulate our bodies, our metabolism, our sleep, our nervous system. So sunlight is very good. Sunlight is a natural antidepressor, and it's a natural regulator of lots of our health processes. But besides our general health, sunlight is very important for our eyesight. Our eyes need the stimulation of sunlight to function properly. And that is why one of the techniques that we teach you is sunning, where we will dive into sunning a bit deeper in a moment, where with your closed eyes, and this is important, always with your closed eyes, you direct your nose towards the sun and you let your eyes be stimulated by sunlight. But there's different types of light, of sunlight, that are very good for our eyesight as well. A lot of people don't know that the blue light from the sun that we get in the middle of the day is very good to prevent myopia, to prevent being short-sighted. There's been studies carried in Australia and Japan that prove that children that spend a couple hours in the middle of the day playing outside develop much less myopia or being short-sighted than children who stay indoors all the time, playing only indoors. So in Australia, for example, it's become kind of compulsory for kids to stop in the middle of the school day so that they can play outside, outdoors, and get direct sunlight. Now, another kind of sunlight that is extremely important for the quality of your eyesight is the red light that we get at sunrise and at sunset. Mhm. It has been proven already for quite some time, but in the last year, there's been again more proof of this by research done in universities, in different universities in London, that red light that has a long wavelength stimulates the mitochondria in the cells in the retina, and that keeps the retina with more energy and more stimulated and living longer. Research proves that people who have eyes that have been exposed to red light have a retina that lasts longer and that can resist better the kinds of wavelengths that create the fatigue of the eyes or the deterioration of the eyes. So we know that ultraviolet light is very dangerous for the eyes. So you should never, ever, ever, ever watch a sun eclipse directly. That would burn your retinas and make you blind. Mhm. You want to watch a sun eclipse, watch it on YouTube, watch it on TV, but do not look directly at the sun. Mhm. And the ultraviolet rays are dangerous, and blue light, when we're exposed to blue light for a very long time and beyond the normal natural time of the day, also make our eyes more tired and deteriorate faster. But when you expose your eyes to red light, you're actually repairing, preventing, stimulating the retina and making it stronger against the effects of blue light. So if you live by the sea, this is important because it would have to be at sea level. The only moment of the day where you can look at the sun directly is at sunrise, when the disk of the sun is still touching the horizon, and at sunset, when the disk of the sun is touching the horizon. And that corresponds to the moment where naturally it's pleasant to look the sunset and the sunrise. And you can also share this with a beloved person and make it a very special moment. So in the morning, actually, watching red light in the morning is even more beneficial for your eyes than the sunset in the evening. But both are helpful. So you're seeing the light of the sun is very good in the middle of the day to prevent myopia. Is very good sunrise sunset at the level of the sea to strengthen and repair and stimulate your retina. Mhm. And in general terms, we would like to be in contact with the full spectrum of solar light at the moment of the day. So if you're spending a long time at home, give me a second, I'm going to get something here. If you're spending a long time at home with artificial lights, it would be good to get yourself one of those lights that changes colors depending on the time of the day. In Scandinavia, they use these, for example, to prevent depression. That's a good reason to it, but also to protect our circadian cycle and to make sure that when we go to bed, we can fall asleep and we can rest. Now, people interested in photography or filming, they know very well about this because they need to be aware of the quality of the light for their pictures, and painters also. But we can also download apps. For example, I have this sun surveyor where we can know about when is the sunset, when is the sunrise, when is the sunset, when is the sunrise, when we could be looking at the sun, and when not anymore, just for a few minutes every day. So you may want to get one of these. Now, other reasons why sunlight is very important for our eyes and for our health. A lot of people don't know about this, but it has been found. So everybody knows, or a lot of people know, that it's important to get at least 10, 15 minutes a day of sunlight so that we can synthesize vitamin D. And it was thought that we needed the contact with sunlight through skin. But in the past years, science has found that actually vitamin D is synthesized thanks to sunlight that gets in contact with the photosensitive cells in the eyes. Not all the cells in the eyes are for vision. Some of them are for relationship with the sunlight, but for other health-related purposes. So it's important to have our eyes exposed to natural sunlight at least 10, 15 minutes every day so that we can get vitamin D. And there is another consequence to this idea, and that is that it would be good to avoid sunglasses. when we're wearing sunglasses, it has a number of inconveniences for our health and for our eyesight. The first one is that we are preventing ourselves from synthesizing vitamin D. So that's not good for us. The second one is that when we're wearing sunglasses, if I may show the model of the eye that I have here, when we're wearing sunglasses all the time, so we have here the cornea, and then there would be the aqueous humor, and then we have the iris and the pupil. Well, when we're wearing sunglasses all the time, we have our pupils permanently dilated, and we need for our iris to be able to close and open and close and open, and also do its own gym so that we can see well. And in a moment later today, we will see also in a different way why this is so relevant for our eyesight. But let's say for the moment that we need our iris and our pupil to be able to do its gymnastics. And when we're wearing sunglasses all the time, we prevent the iris from keeping its flexibility and its strength and helping us in the process of seeing. Another reason why it would be a good idea to avoid sunglasses is that so our eyes are the instrument that measures a relationship with light, and not just light, but also heat from the sun. So when we're wearing sunglasses, we're confusing our body about the adjustments that it needs to make in relation with the sun. It's as if we were trying to measure the temperature of a room, and we would put the thermometer by a heater. It would be actually fooling the thermometer. So when we wear sunglasses, we're fooling our bodies. And there's been research carried in Australia that has shown with the Aboriginal communities that have a very dark skin, so naturally protected from the sun rays. Well, when they started wearing sunglasses, they started getting their skin burned and even skin cancer. So that is telling you something about how sunglasses could be fooling your body system. So when to use sunglasses and when not? Sunglasses are justified if you're a pilot and you need to fly a plane. So there are circumstances where you need to wear them, but most of us are not pilots. Now, if you're skiing in the snow, of course you want to wear sunglasses. Otherwise, there's too much reflection of the sun in the snow. Also, if you're in the desert or if you're in the sea, there's a lot of reflection. So maybe if you go to the beach or you're going on a boat, those are occasions where you would want to wear sunglasses. Also, if you're driving against the sun and the sun is setting and you're driving for a long time against the sun, there you may want to wear sunglasses. But the rest of the time, sunglasses are not really justified. And it would be better actually either to go to the shadow or wear a hat or blink more. Or we have another alternative that we will be talking about in a moment. But first, I want to explain a few more things about light. We have an alternative tool instead of sunglasses that can work very, very well for you. Okay, so more things about light, about artificial light. So we have more and more LEDs at home and LEDs in our screens. So what can we do to protect our eyes from them? One thing is that nowadays, at least in many countries, it's not possible to find incandescent or halogenous lights anymore. The only ones that are sold are LEDs. And LEDs are very poor in the spectrum of light that they show. It's mostly blue light, so that creates fatigue for the eyes. So we may want to do a couple of things. First, among the LEDs, buy a more expensive one that has a wider spectrum of light so that you can regulate depending on the moment of the day so that the light becomes more similar to the sunlight. This is one. But another one for your electronic devices, like your laptops, computers, tablets, phones, it would be good also to filter the light from these computers. And you can do it in two ways. One way that I like very much is using a virtual filter. A virtual filter, the one that I prefer, but you may find another one, is f.lux, f.lux. This filter you can download for free. You can download it for Mac. You can download it for Microsoft PCs. It works also for Android, and I believe that it also works for iPhones and Apple products. So you can download it for free and you can install it in your devices. And in this way, it will change the color of your screen according to the color of sunlight. So it won't mess up your circadian cycle, and it will allow you to go to bed and sleep better. On the other hand, you may want also to get a filter for blue light. And I know that some people are buying glasses with a blue light filter. And while they have the advantage of filtering the blue light from the screens, they have the disadvantage of creating bad habits for your eyesight. Every time you wear glasses, you're limiting your peripheral view. That's not very good for you. You're also placing a glass in front of your eyes that filters also other aspects of the light that may be good for your eyes. Also, glasses tend to inhibit blinking, and we saw in the last video how important blinking is. And they tend to make your gaze more rigid and move less. So because we'd like to avoid you creating bad habits wearing glasses, why don't you put the filter, instead of in front of your eyes, in front of the screen? And so you can use physical filters for your computer, tablet, phones. And one brand that I like very much is a Spanish brand. It's called reticare.com. You can find it in reticare.com/tienda, which means shop in Spanish, en for English. I'm sharing the link here. I was advising this physical filter for a very long time, for years, when this brand contacted me and gave me the option to give 10% discount using this code, Dr. De Federico. So if you do this, I think I have some commission for it, but I've never really looked at it. But anyway, this is a brand that I really recommend. If you want to choose another one, it's also certainly a better idea than not having any. But it's a good idea to put some filters for the blue light of artificial devices. Voila, some ideas about lights. We've covered sunlight, a few ideas of sunlight, when it is bad, when it is good, at what time, artificial light. And I would like to dive now into sunning. And then we'll talk about the instant focusing technique. And I will also share with you a tool that you can use that is an extremely good training tool to learn how to see better and better. And that can be a very good substitute for sunglasses, but also for regular glasses as you're learning to improve your eyesight naturally. As you want to improve your eyesight naturally, and you don't want to wear glasses all the time because you want to be doing the practices and adjust your eyes and make them learn how to see better and better, but you don't yet see well enough to function fully without glasses. So we have this a tool that I'm going to be sharing in a moment. Okay, so first I said I'd like to review the sunning technique. So because sunlight is so good for the eyes, we want to practice a bit of sunning every day, like brushing your teeth or washing your face or taking a shower, or combing your hair or drinking water. Let me do that. So this is a practice that you want to do a little bit every day, and you'll notice the benefits the moment you start practicing. And actually, we believe so much in the power of this technique that we have shared with you in video number 2 a document. Maybe you have it at hand. Natalie, do you happen to have the small print document? Okay, so it's a document that looks like this. Natalie is showing it. Yeah. Okay, thank you. So this document, you can use it. You can use it when you do your sunning before and after. And if you see the document, you can show it again. You'll notice, yes, please. You'll notice that the document has different paragraphs with different sizes of letters. So to measure and evaluate the quality of your focus at a given time. And you can hold this document of small print characters, you can put it down, at the distance of your elbow. And like this, you have the same measure to look at it before you practice the sunning and after you practice the sunning. Mhm. So you can have a fresh look without glasses or contacts and see how many of the lines you can read comfortably. And then you can practice sunning for a few minutes, and we'll talk about it again. And then you can look at the document after practicing sunning, and you'll notice that you can either read the same lines with a lot more focus, or you can actually read several paragraphs down with improved focus. So you can read smaller print easily. So exactly, you can see that we have until font number 2 or something like that. So really small print, and you can see how much better you can see. So how does the sunning work? You can put it down now. So sunning, it's thank you, Natalie. It's very simple. So with your closed eyes and without glasses or contacts, of course, if you have intraocular lenses, if you've had the cataract surgery, you're going to leave them inside. But contacts or lenses, any lens, any glass that you can remove from in front of your face, including the glass from your window, if possible. So with your bare eyes, you will, and closed, you will point your nose towards the sun, and you will move your head um, very gently to have the rays of the sun stimulate the retina in different areas. Wake it up, stimulate it, repair it, nourish it, and it's amazing. You will also notice the muscles of your eyes being relaxed. So in that way, sunning is also very good for eyesight. Mhm. And you can also move your whole body. You can do slow swings and um, gentle movements of your body. Um, and there's also a couple of variations that you can do with sunning. You can put your hands completely with your fingers very stretched, and with your closed eyes, you can move your hands in front of your closed eyes, very near your nose, not far away, near. And you will notice that in your closed eyelids, you will see like a kaleidoscope of colors and shapes, changing colors and shapes. This is also a very good practice. Besides the fact that it's pretty and it's entertaining, so in this sense it's amusing, and you want to do the sunning a bit longer, and that's very good. As you're putting the fingers in front of your eyes, you're creating moments of light and shadow, light and shadow, light and shadow. And what it does for your eye is that you are causing the iris to open and close, open and close, open and close. The pupil becomes bigger when there's shadow and smaller when there's light, bigger when there's shadow and smaller when there's light. And this has several beneficial effects. One is that you're doing gym to the iris, and that's good. It's good to keep the muscles of your eyes in shape so that you can focus well. The second advantage is that as you're doing this open and close for the iris, this is helping the aqueous humor that is between the cornea and going through the pupil, so the iris is in between, and to the crystalline, the aqueous humor, to regulate its pressure, because the pumping of the iris opening and closes regulates the intraocular pressure. So if you've been having high intraocular pressure or glaucoma, this exercise, the sunning with the inner kaleidoscope, is very simple, very pleasing, and very, very good for you. Now, there's a third reason why sunning is so amazing, and you can notice immediately that you can focus much better in the small print document. Now, you could practice this also if you don't have the small print document that we shared with you since video number 2. You could also use a newspaper or a book having different sizes of letters. So what is one of the reasons why you focus so much better after doing sunning? Well, if we look at the anatomy of the eye and a bit of the physiology, so we already said light bounces on objects, and then the light that bounces on the objects go through the cornea. That's a natural lens, transparent. Then the aqueous humor, it's a bit like water, it's transparent. Then it goes through the pupil, so the hole inside the iris. Then it goes through the crystalline, this natural lens that participates in focusing. Then it goes through the vitreous humor, which is more like a gel or a jelly, but it's also transparent. And then light reaches the retina. And this is where the impulses of light are transformed into nervous impulses that then go through the optic nerve into the brain where they're interpreted. Well, guess what? Immediately in front of the pupil, we have the macula. You see this yellow thing here? Here, this is the optic nerve where the signals would go into the brain. But here we have the macula that's in the center of the retina, exactly in front of the pupil. So, and this, the macula, is where we have our central vision. And that's the part of our eye with which we see the best, the most focus, with more details, with color. Okay, we also see color in other places, but this is where we have the greatest accumulation of the little cones, which are the cells that are sensitive to color and to details. So the more there is light and the more the iris is closed and the pupil is small, and the more the stimulation of the sun rays are going directly into the macula and the fovea, and the more precisely we see. So we always want to have more light when we want to see clearly, for example, for reading, so that our pupil is closed, and there's more rays stimulating the fovea. Yeah, for this reason, we want to do sunning, and we want to be avoiding to wear sunglasses. Sunglasses make our focus much worse. Okay, so there's another variation of sunning that also works very, very well. And maybe you can show it, Natalie, because we require that small print character document that you have. You could also use it with any other document that has printed letters on it. This one has the advantage that you can also measure your eyesight before and after practicing the sunning. Do you want to explain it? How do you do this other practice with the small print document?
Sure, with pleasure. Can you hear me?
Yes, very well.
So, with these micro characters, with this different letter size, I'm in the sun, and then I put between the sun and my eyes this this sheet, and then but I put on the reverse,
Yeah, upside down, not to be
upside
tempted to
down.
read it. Yes.
Yes, not to have the temptation to read it. And then I'm in this way. I will put here, and I will do this or this, following. There's an effect with white and black.
Yes.
Figure.
So you're moving the sheet in front of your face because you have the sheet between you and the sun. You can open your eyes in this case because there's already the protection from the sheet of paper, from the kind of rays from the sun that we wouldn't want in our eyes. And moving the paper in front of your eyes creates these moments of shadow and light, shadow and light. So it also makes the iris and the pupil do the gymnastics and help this focusing mechanism that you have when your pupil is smaller. Very, very good. So you can practice palming every day for a few minutes. How long? Well, as long as it's pleasing, as long as it's nice. When you use these criteria, you're always aware of the sensations of your body. So it's not very likely that you stay too long or that you stay when there's discomfort or when you're bored and you're not interested anymore, or you're starting to be stressed because you have to do something else. So it's better to stay the time that is pleasing, that is nice at that moment. And maybe one day it will be 3 minutes, another day it will be 5 minutes, and another day it will be 15 minutes. It's okay. Just do it the time that is nice for you. If you stay within the range of 15 minutes, you're absolutely safe. You can do it several times a day when it feels nice. So if you live in a very hot country by the equator, probably not in the middle of the day. Rather do it in the morning or in the afternoon, like later, closer to the sunset. If you live in countries that are closer to the poles, you may want to do it at other times of the day. So that's why do it when it's pleasing. It's always a very good criteria. Okay, some people ask. If where they live there is no sun, if it's cloudy and rainy or it's winter, then what do? Well, if it's winter, you could get more clothes and nevertheless go into the sun and do the sunning. But if it's cloudy and rainy, probably you don't want to be in the rain, but when there's clouds, you could go outside and instead of looking into the sun, you can look into the clouds. The clouds will reflect a lot of light. You can look at the clouds with your eyes open, but because they reflect a lot of light, you will probably want to blink more often, to blink rapidly as you're clouding. You can also do skying. So you can look on a sunny day with no clouds. You can look at the blue parts of the sky and you can look with your eyes open. And you may want to blink also a little bit more so that your eyes get adjusted to the amount of light of the day. At night, you can do starring and mooning. You can look at the stars and you can look at the moon. And that's also going to be very good for your eyesight because you're looking far away. You're looking natural objects that are very, very far, natural light. Now, it's still easy to see the moon from about anywhere, but the stars are more and more difficult to see from our very artificially lit cities. So you may want once in a while to go to the countryside, to a place where there's not so much artificial light around, and look at the sky and look at the stars, at the clouds also, but at the stars at night, and that's also very good for your eyesight. Okay, every form of natural light that you look at when it's possible or that you're in the presence of will also regulate your circadian cycle. And it's very important to be in the sunlight a little bit every day, even if you keep yourself in the shadow, but to have your eyes exposed to the sunlight. That is really good for your eyesight and your general health. Okay, some people want to know if they can do sunning while they have their intraocular lenses. And the answer is yes. Okay, you can still benefit from it with intraocular lenses. If you don't have intraocular lenses, or even if you want to remove your glasses and contacts, but the sunning will benefit you also with intraocular lenses. The sunning is done with closed eyes, except when you have this paper between you and the sun, but you can look at the clouds and at the sky with your eyes open, of course. Okay, if it's raining or if it's very, very cold and you can only do it from home, well, do the sunning from home, better than not doing it. But if you can do it outside without or with an open window, it's even better to have directly the rays of the sun. And a lot of people are asking, for what symptoms does the sunning help? And actually, the answer is all of them. Like the palming, you want to be doing sunning and palming regardless of the symptoms that you have or the state of your eyesight, because eyes need natural light, so it's important to give it to them. Sunning is very useful to make sensitivity to light disappear. It's actually the main tool to make it disappear, because if you have photophobia or sensitivity to light, it's probably because your iris and your pupil is dilated most of the time, and your iris has lost the capacity, has forgotten that it can also close itself. In this case, you may want to start progressively, little by little. You start a couple minutes in the beginning, you add a couple minutes, and you go progressively into more sunning so that the process is comfortable, but it will help you to remove the sensitivity to light. Sunning is also useful to regulate when your eyes are tired, when they're irritated, when they're dry, when they're crying. Sunning is also useful when you want to recover from any refractive error, like myopia or being short-sighted, hyperopia or being far-sighted, presbyopia or having tired eyes and needing reading glasses, or astigmatism, because it relaxes the muscles. So it's also helpful for strabismus, so the squints. It's also helpful for amblyopia when you have a lazy eye, because it stimulates it. And it's also helpful for other more degenerative sicknesses that imply that tissues in the eye have declined already, such as cataracts. Sunning is very important for cataracts or macular degeneration. Red light is very important for macular degeneration, um, or glaucoma, or the effects of a retinal or a vitreous detachment, and more. But I'm just mentioning the most common eye symptoms. So, whatever is your eye symptom, you want to be doing sunning and you want to be doing palming. Like, if you want to have good teeth, you're brushing your teeth every day. Yeah. So, palming and sunning are a very, very good tool for your eyesight. And you want to combine them in your practice. You probably want to start with palming, then do a little bit of sunning, and then you can do palming again. And particularly if you want to regulate the intraocular pressure for those who have glaucoma or high intraocular pressure, it's very good to do sandwiches of palming, sunning, palming, sunning, palming, sunning, and you alternate for a few minutes each. That's going to be an amazing practice to have. Okay. Would you like to add some other comment about sunning before I go into a bit further in the explanations, Natalie, with your experience of sunning or things that you have observed?
Yes, sure. The sunning was is fundamental, really. Apart of the fact that it is also a moment that you take for yourself, very very nice and relaxing moment. You can feel it in your muscles. The heat of the sun is so
Mhm,
so nice. Well, I'm living in Switzerland and I have big mountains, so I have to wait until it's a little bit up at 9 o'clock in the morning. But for me, it was a really in short time. I was experiencing presbyopia. I had
mhm.
to do classes to use my computer and to
To
see
read. Uh-huh.
letters on the. This was my best. I was so surprised that worked so fast, so
Mhm.
fast. When I was, I could. It was so exceptional. This I'm always with this. Now I can see again without glasses for presbyopia, also the letters, and it's quite effective.
Thank you. Well, maybe I didn't introduce Natalie. Natalie was a former student of the Clear Sight Method course in Spanish. And you liked it so much that you decided to become a vision educator. And so you're in training to become a vision educator at this moment. And you're also a healthcare practitioner. I mean, health is your field of work
Yeah.
already. So thank you for sharing this. Now, let me have a look at the comments and let's see if there's some things coming up. Because in a moment, I would like to show you a little exercise that's going to surprise you, because you're going to notice immediately immediately how your focus improves. And I see that Anne Marie is already saying, I wish to thank you for this video. I have been doing the first exercise, and yes, there is a difference. Well, watch out because you're going to be amazed by the difference you're going to notice right now with the instant focusing technique. Mhm. Okay, and I'll have a look at some more questions after that, but I want to show you this right now. So I would like to invite you to, if you have any glasses or contacts, to remove them right now. Mhm. And to yeah, make sure that you take a point of reference of how you see now. How are you noticing light? How are you noticing colors? How are you noticing details, textures, movement, mhm, contrast? There's letters in our environment, so probably you can look at different letters. For example, if you're looking at the screen, you can see Wake Up Your Eyes, Lesson 2 Live, Natalie's Type, Dr. Ainhoa de Federico, maybe the chat. So you have different letters of different sizes that you can look at and see how well, how bad you see them. And really, it's not an exam, it's just to take a point of reference. Maybe you have other letters in your environment far away, so you can have a look to see how you see. And now we're going to apply the instant focusing technique, and you're going to see how much clearer you can see with this technique that we're going to see. And you're going to do it with your very own bare eyes without any glasses. Oh, there's a squirrel going in front of me. That's so cute. So, um, you just make a very little hole with your finger, the size of the head of of a nail, or the size of the point of a pencil, very small. And you're going to close one eye, and you're going to put this little hole in front of the other eye, and you're going to look through the little hole. Look through the little hole and notice how well you can read the letters. Mhm. The different letters that you can see in the screen or maybe around you. Look how you see the colors, how you see contrast, how you see light, and notice the difference. You can look at the keyboard. You can look at everything you want. And I would like to read now in the chat, what has been different, what was different when you were looking through the little hole with this instant focusing technique. What has been the difference? And I know there's sometimes a little bit of delay between my asking the question and you typing the answer, but I'm really, really interested in noticing what was different. Did you see colors better, light better, letters better? What changed? And Natalie, maybe you can start telling what has happened for you.
Well, I have on the in the wall in the corner. I have the autotype, and I could read till the last uh, letters.
Mm-hmm.
And also the colors were more light.
Uh-huh.
Everything was clearer, very clear.
Okay. Beautiful, Natalie. And I'm seeing also comments in the chat. So Kristen is saying much clearer vision. Catherine is saying excellent. Nan is saying, I can read everything that was blurry. Congratulations, Nan. Absolutely. Robin is saying less astigmatism. Marie, clearer letters. Uh-huh. Okay, Maria is saying, I have not been using my glasses mostly and have difficulty seeing with glasses. With the little hole method, the letters are clearer. Mary, the letters are much clearer. Malinda, the letters are much clearer. Erika, before I see two lines of words and after I see one line, great. It started blurry but got clearer. Diana, incredible. With naked eye, Wake Up Your Eyes is completely blurred. Through the pinhole, I can read, yeah, the little hole, I can read the small print. Absolutely. Very, very good. Alison, my left eye is much weaker than my right, but I can see much better through the hole. Chris, everything is magnified. Absolutely. Nature Dweller, I saw a little TV the other night and used this pinhole technique. The letters on the screen looked sharper than when I wear glasses. Absolutely. Colors intenser and better sight. And Anna Marie, I can read all the words on the screen. Absolutely. Absolutely. Why, when we look through this little hole, we see so much better? We see so much sharper and so much neater. Well, because of the anatomy and the physiology of the eye. I showed you, if I remove all these layers of the eye, because in front of the pupil, we have the macula and we have the fovea, where we have the most amount of little cones that allow us to see colors and to see details. The letters are clear in both eyes, even in the bad eye. Amazing. Absolutely. I can read all the words. Yay. So you have noticed that with your very bare own eye, with no glasses, no lenses, when you look through this little hole, when you take advantage of your foveal vision, you see much, much better. Much, much better. Now, you may be wondering, but why don't I experience my eyesight like this all the time? And let me tell you, the difference between the people who don't see well and wear glasses and the people like me and now Natalie and many others, thousands that I have helped all over the world and more, is that we use our eyes in a different way. People who see well, they still have a fovea, The fovea is small. It's not like the whole retina is a fovea. It's still a small fovea. But what we do is that we're looking at details. We're moving our eyes a lot more. We're looking at details. And we have trained our brain to remember the little details that we saw. And so our eyes, our brain is showing us a sharp image as a whole. And people like you who have been wearing glasses up to now have not trained your brain to pay and your eyes to pay attention and details and to remember a clear image as a whole. But you can see clear because you were looking through the little hole and you were seeing very sharp. So if when you're looking through the little hole, you're seeing very sharp and clear, it means that your eyesight and your eyes are trainable because you already have the capacity to see clear. And now it's a question of practicing, learning the exercises, learning the method and practicing it day by day so that you train your brain and your eyes to see better all the time. Okay, now let's roll the drums because I'm going to show you a tool that is going to help you do this training. And that is 1, 2, 3, the pinhole glasses. You have one around as well? Yay.
Yes,
So
right.
we can show you, you can put the pinhole glasses near the camera of your computer. So you see the pinhole glasses are plastic glasses. They don't have a glass actually. We call them glasses because of that's how we call these kind of objects, but there is no glass, no lens. So it's a black plastic that instead has little holes. So instead of going like this through life, which is kind of uncomfortable, yeah, with the little holes, you can put on the pinhole glasses. They already have the little holes, and you can look through the holes. You will get the sharpness that you get with the little hole, but you can function and you still have your hands around, and they will correct the sharpness far or near and for astigmatism. So they can be used as substitutes for the prescription lenses or the reading glasses because they allow you in the moment to see sharp. But not only are they good transition tools to use instead of the glasses, but they're also training tools. These glasses actually make your eyesight better because they train your brain to pay attention to the foveal vision, to the small little hole, the small fraction where you see well. And they also encourage your eyes to look through the different holes. So they encourage the saccadic movements that train your eyes to move more and train your brain to pay attention at more details. So these glasses are amazing. They're a great substitute for sunglasses because they already remove most of the light. If there's too much light, they remove most of it, but they still let the full spectrum of sunlight get through. So you have the advantage of the full sunlight spectrum without the disadvantage of too much glare. And you're training your eyes to see better and better while using them, besides seeing well in the moment. These so can be used instead of sunglasses, and they can be used instead of the prescription glasses or the reading glasses. Now, I also need to warn you that there's some moments where you should not use the pinhole glasses. Do not use pinhole glasses when you're driving a car because they cover most of your visual field and it could be dangerous. Don't use them if you're going to be using dangerous tools, or if you're in a space where you could bump into things or people could bump into you. For example, running, it may not be the best idea because you want to have your peripheral vision. But you can use them very well for reading, for watching TV, going to the theater, laying in the sun, go at the beach, and doing things at home in known places. And they're an amazing, amazing tool. Plus, they're very affordable. You can find a lot of them for between $1, $5. So it's really a very small investment. There's some more sophisticated ones that cost between $38 to $42 euros, but you can really start with a $1 to $5 pinhole glasses. This one, I think it cost me $2, and it's perfect. For you, Natalie, it was also a cheap model.
Yeah, yes,
Okay.
cheap model.
Okay, you can find them in
It was
Amazon.
15 francs. Here in
Okay.
Switzerland, everything is. It's
It's
more
more
expensive.
expensive. Okay. Well, you can find them online. They send them to your home, and they're really, really cheap,
It's
not expensive at all. Voila. So we have talked about a lot of things. We covered a lot of ground. We covered a number of limiting beliefs about eyesight and not being able to improve it because of age or genetics. And you have seen that you actually do see well, so you can train yourself to see well. We've talked about sunlight, when it's good, when it's bad, how to use it to improve your eyesight through sunning. We have talked also about artificial lights, the ones that we have at home, how to transform them, how to change them. We've talked about screens of computers, tablets, smartphones, and how to filter them with physical filters or with virtual filters. We taught you the instant focusing technique, so you could see that you can see much better than you thought, and you can train yourself to have that experience of seeing with that clarity. And we have shared with you one of the tools that can train you into that clear vision, a very important tool, the pinhole glasses that you can use as a substitute for sunglasses, and that you can use instead of prescription glasses or lenses. So, Diana, you had a look and you saw conflicting reports. So we will find scientific reports saying that pinhole glasses are very good for your eyesight, and some others that don't like them so much. In this case, Diana, I would say, why don't you experience yourself, experiment yourself, and take your own decision about what the effect of the pinhole glasses are for you in your own experience, in your own direct experience. Again, don't use them for driving. Don't use them with dangerous tools or in environments where you could bump into things, or people could bump into you, or things like that. But if you use them at home for reading, for TV, for the theater, or in known environments, you will see what difference they make. And voila, if you're having good results with the techniques that we have been sharing between since the beginning of the course, well, maybe you can give us a little bit of trust and have a look and decide for yourself how useful they are for you. Okay, let me see. So I'm going to have a look at a few questions that I'm seeing in the chat. So you can be your own scientist and do your own experiment. Of course, do it in a way that you take good care of yourself, always very important, where you are safe, and where you feel safe and comfortable, but you can see what it provides.
May I
Um,
say
Go
something?
ahead. Yes, of course.
Uh, Normally, it's better to start gradually with the
Yes.
glasses,
Hmm.
as the as also with the sunning and this.
With all the
Gradual
practices. Yes.
with the 5 minutes, minutes, half an hour. That's it.
Yes. And actually, you want to use pinhole glasses. I would start minutes in the beginning, a few minutes, 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, when you're doing your practice or when you're reading a little bit. And progressively, you may want to extend that time. But I would suggest, whenever possible, not to spend more than 2 hours a day with the pinhole glasses, because you also want to train your eyes to see by themselves. You don't want to change the dependency from the glasses, the lens glasses, into the pinhole glasses. You want to actually use them as trainers so that you see better and better with your own bare eyes, that you develop the good habits of looking well, to have the foveal awareness and the movement of the eyes and looking at details. Somebody was asking if this video is recorded. Yes, it is. And it's going to stay in YouTube. So if you're just visiting, I would suggest that you subscribe, that you sign up to our YouTube channel in youtube.com/clearsightmethod. This video is also staying in Facebook. So if you prefer Facebook, you can follow us in Facebook, facebook.com/clearsightmethod. But the best of all would be to be part of the 4-part free masterclass, registering here into the clearsightmethod.com/wake up your eyes, because this is one chapter into a series of classes that we're sharing, where we're sharing a lot of useful content to take care of your eyes and improve your vision. And you will use this information best if you take the previous classes, if you go to watch lesson 1 and lesson 2, the video and the live, and if you make sure that you watch video number 3, live number 3, and also lesson 4, video 4, and live 4. Tomorrow, we're actually going to free video number 3. We're going to broadcast it, and we will be sending it through email. So if you want to make sure that you watch video number 3, make sure that you are registered. What are we going to talk about in video number 3? We're actually going to cover one aspect of eyesight and vision that most people don't even know anything about. And there's several PhDs in renowned universities, such as the University of Columbia in New York, such as the University of Stanford and others, where there's been ophthalmologists and psychologists that have noticed the relationship between eyesight and emotions, and how in over 80% of the cases our eyesight declines in moments of stress. I have done research on this directly from the University of Toulouse. And this is a very important key, a very interesting key, because when you find the stress, the emotional stress that's behind the symptom, you have the possibility, the potential to release the emotion that's keeping you from seeing. If the vision decline was an adaptive response of the body to the environment and the situations that you were living, when you put glasses and you see clear again, the adaptive response has to become stronger. And that's one of the reasons why some of the vision symptoms are progressively worse and worse. And also, if you get surgery, but you still haven't solved the issue that was there bothering you, well, now you see clear after the surgery, but the problem or the issue or the emotion is still there, the adaptive response is going to start again. And you will blur your vision as well. So why not learn the emotional factors behind your eyesight and your vision, so that you can take care of that and see clearly in a way that is deep and that is long lasting. That can last for a very long time. So that's the invitation that I'm making to you. Tomorrow I'll be freeing that video. I'll be talking about the scientific research behind it. I'll be talking about what are the emotions behind 4 of the most common eyesight symptoms. And in the live that I will do in a couple days after that, you will be able to learn the emotions that are hidden behind the 15 most common symptoms. So you can come and find out about yours. So if you come and you ask live, there's chances that I will answer about yours as well, if it was not in the list. Okay, so that's the program for tomorrow and the next chapters. Janice is also asking, can we reverse cataracts? We have plenty of participants who have avoided cataract surgery with the methods that we're teaching. So you can practice and see. How effective is sunning if it's cloudy? Well, we said with clouds, you can also do sunning, and it's definitely better to do it than not to do it. Although with the sun, the light is more intense, and it's even better to do more gymnastics for the iris. Is there an advantage to using the paper in front of your eyes instead of your eyelids with the eyes closed? Actually, the advantage is in diversity, Trisha. You want to stimulate your eyes in different ways. So it's good to do the 3 practices. You can do it with the paper instead of closing your eyes, or closing your eyes directly. Okay, thank you. Great lessons from Kenya. Thank you, Isaac. Okay. And I see some people asking about cataracts and macular degeneration. Actually, sunning is very good for this. Okay. And I'm not seeing more questions. Okay. I'm not seeing more questions, so I think we're going to keep it here. Okay, some people happy. Michael, wow, I could focus on even the smallest letters on my phone. Absolutely. Are there different size holes in pinhole glasses, some better than others? Which ones would be best? I would say, Corinne, you can start with the standard holes, the standard size, with the cheap pinhole glasses, $1 to $5. Now, if these are not enough, you may want to look for more expensive ones that have smaller holes. If you have more degrees in your glasses, smaller holes may be better for you. But yeah, you can do that. So, is this a progressive change? Usually, eyesight improves progressively, the same way that it decreases progressively, but faster. It's actually going to take you less time to improve your eyesight than the time it took you to make it worse. Okay. Can you look into the flame when there's bad weather? You could, because the fire has red color, and you can also find lamps in red color that have, well, red color, of course. This red, slow, long wavelength. But the sun has many more advantages. So whenever possible, do the sunning. And Rebecca also super happy. Oh my gosh, I see perfectly clear letters. So I'd like to stay with this. I can see perfectly clear letters. You've noticed that you could see much clearer, that you could see maybe even perfectly clear. So stay with this potential that you have, with this possibility, with this opportunity. And now, as you're learning natural vision improvement techniques in this Wake Up Your Eyes free masterclass, you know that you have this potential and you can expand this potential and make it a habit, make it your new normal, make it the way you normally and usually see the world. And if you want to learn this, stay with us, because tomorrow we're going to share another, for me, fundamental technique to improve your eyesight and improve your vision and gain clarity in yourself and in your life. So for now, I'm going to say goodbye. Take care of yourself. Take very good care. Be happy. Enjoy the beauty of life. And I will see you tomorrow much, much better. So see you very soon in the video and very soon in the next lives. And congratulations for being here and taking steps to take care of your eyes and improve your eyesight. You're doing great. So I see you tomorrow in the next video. Bye bye.
Bye.